I was making some mayo and I had just refilled my olive oil squeeze bottle. Then this happened. A boneheaded kitchen mistake. Always tighten your caps. This mayonnaise is now on the verge of breaking. I really want to give it a quick whisk, but I'm like 99% sure it's going to split if I do that. And if I leave that much olive oil, it's going to turn the mayo into something very bitter. So I'm passing the bulk of the semi-clean stuff through some cheesecloth, but that oil on the counter is toast. I then start whisking in a very small area where the emulsion looks most stable. That small area comes back together easily, so I start broadening my stroke to incorporate the surrounding semi-stable mixture. Now that I have a stable base, I start to swoop the tines of my whisk down into the broken sauce, bringing it up little by little into the stable base. It's the same idea as drizzling oil in very slowly as you whisk to slowly form the emulsion. You'll eventually hit a point of stability where it's still possible to break the emulsion, but it's really unlikely. This is when I grab all the residual oil and it's pretty well rescued at this point. The emulsion isn't going to break, the mayo is very stable. Since I'm no longer worried that the emulsion will break, I'm adding back the thicker parts of the broken mayo that got caught in the cheesecloth when I strained out the olive oil. This olive oil is decently pricey, so I'm just trying to save as much as possible, which explains why I'm milking the oil-soaked cheesecloth like it's a mayo dispensing udder. Whenever I make mayo, I primarily use a neutral oil and then add a few tablespoons of olive oil for flavor. Something like 90% neutral oil and 10% olive oil. You can just eyeball in some olive oil once the sauce is done, taste, and adjust. The little bit of bitterness it adds also helps balance the sauce. If you go straight olive oil, it's likely going to end up being overly bitter and probably not very enjoyable. Because of my little mishap, I ended up with quite a bit more olive oil than I wanted, so I balanced it out with some more neutral oil and called it done once it looked like this. Pretty thick, my ideal dipping consistency. The remaining olive oil still had some blobs of emulsified sauce suspended in it, so I strained it through another round of cheesecloth. That's got to be like $3 foil right there, and then funneled it back into the squeeze bottle. This time I made sure to properly screw on the cap. I'm mostly joking about the money, it's more about avoiding the habit of chucking food in the bin when things go tits up in the kitchen. So in the same vein, I wrung out the last of it into an Italian salsa verde to really get my money back. I had both of these sauces on the go simultaneously. It just happened to work out that they both call for a dose of flavorful olive oil. I know this is a very specific case of broken sauce, but tiny kitchen fiascos like this happen all the time. So just curse a bunch, hold it together for like 5 seconds, assess the situation, and then I bet you can figure it out. If you want to see the rest of this meal, check out the video here.